I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yep.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith. December 20th, regular meeting minutes. I did send you an email today. On page 3, on your copy, there is an error. The third line from the bottom, page 3. I have Administrator Davis, and it should be Administrator Smith. It's right on mine, and it should be Administrator Davis.
Yeah, I don't want that promotion.
Got a cheer for you.
Yeah.
Page 3, no,
You said there, third
Right
line
here.
up here. There was another one right there.
and that one's right, that one above.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I thought you'd said, wasn't sure that popped out.
So the official ones that Amy has that corrected on it.
I move we approve.
I'll second.
Dean Reister.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yeah.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Could I ask a couple questions on that minutes, though? I mean, it's not for the minutes themselves, but if Brian, had you scheduled, it says the council will schedule a public hearing. Did that ever happen?
For what?
Well, the words say, council will schedule a public hearing on this recommendation to amend the zoning map and rezone the property. Was that ever scheduled in this
That has
session?
not come before the council.
Okay, I was wondering about that, because I didn't see anything in our,
Yeah, because there's actually more, there's more than just the one property involved. So there's still.
more going to be coming.
Yeah.
okay, I was thinking from the discussion it was gonna stay separate, but, okay.
No.
And did we offer that wood to the, any residents that might want it, that was cut down in the park?
No.
Okay,
We were going to, the problem is that a lot of it was extremely large pieces,
okay.
so.
Go ahead and do the next
So where
one.
are we at now?
Under the special
The next minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Hold on, I'm still writing down.
Okay.
Okay, Kenny, you motioned
Yes.
for the special meeting.
Yes.
Dean second.
Yes.
Okay. Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith. I'm sorry.
I said yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Financial report.
Where's Schultz Automotive? Who's that?
Payne on 613, 500, 613.
They're busy all the time.
So I see we had oil changes and snow tires with them and Pierce. Just maybe somebody was too busy to get it done. I was just guessing, I presume.
Yeah, I would say talk to Ashley.
Okay.
Amy, on 12/2, 10,325 for downtown speakers.
Yeah.
What is that?
In the budget, they had approved in 2021 to buy speakers. It's something George had requested to put on our historical lighting. Every so many lights will have a speaker system that will play music and be available for announcing during like Big Boys Toys Car Show. If there's an emergency or George is here, I'll let him speak on it. But it was approved in the budget by the Finance Committee. They came in at the very end of the year. Schweller is supposed to, no. ACDC is going to install them for free for us. I believe they're volunteering.
But the speakers cost 10,000.
The system, it's a whole system.
The whole system. Okay, I just wondered.
That'd be cabling and everything that they gotta put in between everything and get it all set up.
Okay.
I'd rather seen another check amount out for the Village of Ant. For $1,349. Came to the village.
It's a pay-in, so it's somebody that paid us money
But that's going out, right?
It would probably be Mayor's Court. So Mayor's Court comes in as, Mayor's Court, right above it. No, yeah. So there's Mayor's Court, they give us this much money total, this much goes to the village, this much goes to state, and this
I'm with
much
you.
goes to the, got it?
Yeah, brain fart.
It's okay.
Okay,
Anybody else have questions on financials?
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yep.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
Now, we send this around and you guys all just sign off on it. The council members, please. Good,
We all sign or just the ones?
everyone.
Okay.
Okay. We had no visitors call ahead of time. You don't want to speak? Okay. On to the police report?
You all have a copy of the report in your packets. Oh, you're turning the chair around. Not good.
Real quick, and I'm not sure if it's even still there, but I've had 2 people that have mentioned to me about a sign or a flag over here on Woodcocks that's hanging back by a fence back there. And I got looking into it and I brought a little piece of something here and I don't know if this falls in there or not.
I'll be happy to look at it.
But I just wanted to make it easy for you and just kind of show you that. And I think it kind of falls under that. But
I don't think it would. I think Melanie will tell you that it's freedom of speech.
yeah, but I mean, the word itself is an obscenity.
It may be obscene, and I may agree with it, but I don't like it. I think it looks horrid in our village. There's also a new one that just went out the other side of your house.
I haven't heard
I
heard
don't know
about
why
that one
people
yet.
would want to give that look to our village. I think it's horrible. I did go and talk to the young man. He didn't care. It's his right. I checked with the county prosecutor, and he wholeheartedly agreed that
Nothing we can do.
We can't
So-
regulate content.
it's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So I can put every slang word and crude word and everything and hang it right in front of my house and
Pretty
stick it
much.
on the highway.
Make a scroll.
I've had a couple calls on it as well.
Yeah, I did try, and I did, I even tried to talk to him. I haven't talked to these people out here, but I don't,
You don't really care, but
This one is located right at a bus stop. Kids get off there and walk.
you know, Dean,
We still can
like,
do
it would be no different than if a racist downtown Main Street hung a Nazi flag outside it, and we would all hate that.
sure.
But there's absolutely positively nothing we can do to make him take that down.
Okay. I just thought I had to.
For sure, yeah, I'm glad. Yeah.
Maybe if we can get that in the minutes,
Got it.
get it in the paper.
And you also had a couple complaints?
Yes.
I put that down
Yes.
too. Okay.
Any other questions for George?
I don't have any.
Okay.
Thanks, George.
For the new council members, you are always welcome to call me if you have a question, you have a problem, concern, a complaint. I would rather address it, immediately versus, well, in the old days, sometimes council members would wait till they got here and then tell me a complaint they got at the beginning of the month, and I'd rather have it addressed and out of the way.
Okay.
I guess real quick on mine, I knew about it and I figured there was probably nothing we can do, but in my
Sure.
research, I come across that.
Sure. And
So
I've
I
been
thought
asked-
it might have been relevant.
No, I've been asked by many people. No, it's a good point. Yeah.
It's a good thing to bring up because it's just tasteless. Like I don't care. I don't care about your opinion on politics, whatever. But to have a flag that says that, where there's kids going up and down towards the park and different things, it's just.
It just doesn't
It
look
looks
good.
horrible.
Yeah. Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, along with that, Brian, and, we were on the signage, we were supposed to, in the new laws or rules or whatever we're doing, is that it has to be approved. But I wonder, that doesn't have to be approved. But the signs going up on a business do have to be approved? I mean, what's the
That's
difference
got a
there?
good point.
Business and residence.
Yeah, like,
It
would,
could
would,
be a matter for zoning to look at it. I think you're still gonna have to be
Would you
careful.
be
You
careful?
cannot regulate content.
Yeah.
You may be able to regulate size,
Right.
placement, how many signs, those type of things. But the content is where you get into, I mean, that's what the objection
How
is
about
to.
size?
Yeah,
It's a-
you can
a
zone
flag.
and you can regulate, you know,
Oh,
placement, size of the signs, how tall, those type of things.
yeah, because, I mean, one would have to balance the other. I mean, if the one can do it, then the other one can. If the one can't, then the other one can't. And,
The flag's temporary though, right? It's not a permanent structure.
Correct.
I mean, permanent as long as they keep putting it
Right.
up.
For another,
Maybe he's got a box of 100 in there for the rest of his life.
Well, we have a meeting coming up, I'll bring it up.
I'll, I'll make it a point, I'll go talk to him again. And he's had enough, everybody knows his opinion, maybe, I'll see what he says.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'll
don't,
put a finger with it.
I don't mind this Confederate flag, but the one with the obscenity on it's, I
Where's
guess,
this
the
at?
one that everybody's,
I'm not seeing it.
Where
I
is this
agree,
at?
that's horrible.
Turn.
and it is kind of hidden back there, but somebody still seen it because they brought it to my
The one- You
attention.
saw the one down from you, right?
I have not.
Oh,
I'll have to look for it.
houses down on the flagpole, it's big.
I saw that
So it's not on
one
Main
the
Street?
other day.
No.
Well, it's longer than that.
It's kind of set
2
back
weeks
to the
ago, I
house.
think.
It's on there. You can't miss
Blowing
it.
right out.
It's on the right hand side as you're going down Country.
Okay, you ready to move on to
Yep.
Amy?
might be better if an neighbor went and talked to him.
On the fiscal officer report, we're doing the first reading on ordinance 2201. 2022-01. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the village of Antwerp to enter into delinquent debt collection agreement between the Ohio Attorney General and the village of Antwerp.
This was discussed at the December meeting, gave a report on that. This just kind of allows, obviously, the mayor to sign a debt collection agreement. We will do 3 readings, but you won't have a copy of it. They have their own form through the Ohio Attorney General where they will do the collection of the debt. And then once, if this is approved and it goes to the next step, then I think what happens is this is sent down there, hopefully they approve it, and then I think it's Ashley, then we start sending them the actual details on those EMS debts to collect.
And it is a renewal.
What's that?
It is a renewal.
No,
No,
they're
we're
talking about
doing
this,
this.
we're out of
Oh,
order.
we're out there.
We're out of order. It's the one that says Dave Yost on the top left.
So it's ordinance number 2022-01, it should be right behind this one. This one was just, there you go, it's that.
Okay.
So, and then the contract is, it says Dave Yost on the top, and this is the proposed agreement.
I do have a question on that. There was nothing in that contract that had a starting or an end date. Is it just something that we say, okay, 45 days, it's terminated,
It's
there's no
actually-
contract as far as?
There are dates, it was part of another document that went with it, and I probably forgot to send it to Amy, and I don't have it with me. It was part of my report I think I gave. There's so many days, it's at the OG's office that they do it, and then if they can't collect, then it goes to a separate agency. And then there's so many days it goes to, I think it's like, maybe it's an attorney. I gave all of that in the
You
December
talked about it at the
meeting.
No.
last meeting.
And it should probably be attached to this, and I'll make sure to print that and put that with the agreement, because it did have all the dates, so.
I mean that we are locked in.
Yes, that is it.
That's in there, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, I don't
Okay.
have, that was presented at the December meeting, and I don't have it with me, I switched out my file. Since we moved to a new year. But what I'll do is I'll send, there is a printout from the AG's office that sets out all those dates. I will print that
Okay.
out and say that's an attachment to this, so that way those dates are part of it. So.
Is it like a 1 year or a 5
It
year?
was shorter. It
10
was,
year?
Well, the agreement itself is void when you stop sending bills. You're taking.
We're not,
you're
we
taking
don't have to
delinquent
send
bills.
all of them then. We
No.
choose which ones we
Ashley
want.
Exactly.
chooses which one she sends.
Okay,
And these are ones
because it
that
says,
she's.
yeah, we could terminate it with 45 days. I see that in there.
Right, this is just whatever debts she wants to turn over, obviously it's ones that she's been like successful collecting. And I know it's a shorter period of time, it might be like it was less than 6 months, they try,
Okay,
and then there was a different period of time that they have a collection agency that tries, and then a different period of time it goes to an attorney to try.
okay. And
And I'm sorry, I don't have.
no, and if we decide to cancel, we don't have any early termination fees like
I did
our
not
copy
see
machine
anything.
contracts or anything like that.
There's no fees with it, they just take
No,
a
And
Just
this
the
is
percent.
really,
They
you
take
know,
the
this is
percentage.
it,
Okay.
this is what it is, you really can't negotiate with the Attorney General's office on these. So we're kind of stuck with their form agreement if we want them to try to collect the debts for us. But I will give Amy those dates.
It's a contract, it's no risk to the village.
No, because they get paid based on a percentage of the debt, so we would just get less on that
Right.
debt, but they get a percentage of what they collect.
And we would make sure that like people are treated equally in the village. That, okay, if person A gets sent in, then person B gets sent in too. I mean, it's not like, well, if they're,
It's probably a timeline, I would think, but that would be something to talk to Ashley,
Yeah.
What we
right?
do in Williams County is.
like, do we need to
because
set
I'm-
something for Ashley on that?
I'm the one that actually brought it to council about it. So
Yeah,
we have been doing it for years. All you do is she'll go in and she'll take a look at her files, as an example, 2015.
mm-hmm,
She'll take all that she didn't collect,
mm-hmm,
she'll send it down to the state. The state will determine whether the person even is alive. And then in the event they are, then they receive a letter notifying of the debt and the obligation to pay and stuff. And as they collect, every month,
Mhm.
you'll get a check from the AG's office. And we've been amazed at what we've collected, because when you get a letter from the Attorney General, you kind of are a little bit more inclined to read it and pay it than if you just get it.
we just can't turn them all over and just say, you handle our billing.
No, it has to be delinquent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Ordinance number 2022-02. This is an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $114,000 from the general fund to the police fund and declaring the same an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
Amy, is there a way that we could make this where they don't have to be emergencies, like we can plan ahead, or is this something?
The January one, we really can't because you don't have enough money in the police fund to
Okay.
operate. So like if you look in the packet, we have like a severance pay
Mhm.
one and we have the street lighting, those are 3 because we don't need those in the next 3 months.
Okay,
There's enough money there to sustain, but this one there isn't. I think
Okay.
there's like $48,000 or $52,000 in the police fund, and it's not enough to get through
okay,
3 months. We could get through 1 month,
yeah,
but it's not always that high either. That's just this particular one. There's 52
Okay.
or 48,000.
I didn't know if is this a planning issue that we could arrange
Only in
or
January. It is
increase
a
the
planning
budget ahead
issue.
of the year before?
Yeah, no, we can't.
Okay,
The way this used to be handled was they would transfer about $30,000 or $40,000 every 3 months. So it was just something that we did every 3 months, and a lot of times it ended up in an emergency because they couldn't make it to the end of that time frame. So back early on in my first term, I suggested that we just do a large transfer at the beginning of the year to see if we can't get them to the end of the year, and then we can kind of assess it as it comes down to the end, and then towards the end of the months of the year, if it looks like they're going to run out, we could start the process or just do another emergency transfer at the end of the year. This is all money that's in their budget.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of getting it from the general fund to the police
so it's
fund.
already been approved.
It's all approved and it's money that they're gonna use and they're gonna get, but we just kind of restrain from doing the whole transfer at the beginning of the year.
Afraid George will run off
Yeah,
with
we
it?
just never know where George is
There's
gonna
actually
go.
some years we haven't needed it, so.
Yeah, okay,
We almost made it this year, we got pretty close without that, when we had to do a transfer in December just to get them through the month.
And actually, many years ago, Bryce, they used to wait till the very end, and they would make a big transfer, and, you know, it's not like, we gotta have money in there to operate, you can't be in the.
So we do the large transfer at the beginning of the year, we do it under an emergency, so we don't have to look at it 3 months in a row and discuss it 3 months in a row, so
Sure.
we just do an emergency transfer.
okay.
So I'll make a motion to suspend the rules,
And Dean,
yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes,
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to pass,
Dean Reister,
yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
The third reading is ordinance 2022-03. This is an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $4,173 from the general fund to the severance pay reserve fund. This is not an emergency, so this one we will do 3 readings on. The next ordinance is ordinance number 2022-04. An ordinance adopting the personnel manual for the village of Antwerp, Ohio, including any and all amendments thereto and all applicable statements attached thereto for calendar year 2022 and declaring the same an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second.
Who said second? Jason. I gotta know your voices. I don't know them yet. Dean Reister.
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes, yes.
And Brian Smith.
Before we read the next ordinance, do we wanna do an
They gotta-
update
that was
on
a
the
motion
village?
to
Oh, I'm
suspend.
sorry.
You're
Getting
okay.
ahead of myself.
You're okay.
I'll make a motion to pass.
I'll second.
Dean Reister.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
And Brian Smith.
Sorry.
Now go ahead.
So, before she reads the next one, it's 3 readings, but, I think what has happened in the past, usually I think at the December meeting, this is reviewed, so we're a little bit of a month behind. The contract, the agreement that the village has with Real Waste Disposal LLC, who does the residential pickup here in the village, it's a, potentially a 5-year contract, but it's had an initial term of that 1 year, when it was put in place in, April 1, 2020 through March 31, 2021. There are then 4 consecutive, successive 1-year periods that can be renewed. Typically in December, council reviews it, is given any updates on any, potential complaints or anything regarding rural waste. If none, usually they do a motion that says, authorizes the administrator to send notice to rural waste that we want to give them notice for our intention to renew it for a 1-year period. And then in January, we'll do, start the readings of an ordinance to do an addendum to our agreement that allows that extra 1-year period. So I would ask that, you discuss the rural waste agreement. If you do believe it should be renewed for a 1-year period, maybe before doing the first reading, do a motion that would authorize Bryce to send that notice.
Brian.
Brian,
You got a lot of bees.
just looking at you and said, give Brian the authority to send that notice of intention to rural waste disposal to do that, to renew the contract for another 1-year period. And the 1 year starts always in March and ends, or starts in April and ends in March. So this would be for April 1, 2022 through March 31, 2023. So we've made it through 2 years. We did the initial term, we renewed it for a term, so we're on our.
So we're doing the 3rd year of the 5 years.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys have a discussion on that, but I just wanted to kind of.
I've
give
been
that
very
background.
happy with Real Waste. I have no
I
issues.
haven't had
We got
any.
I
homework,
haven't had any complaints from
No.
anyone.
nothing like Fort Wayne.
I was,
That's for sure.
thank goodness.
Red River, whatever.
I've had limited
I saw one.
exposure with them, but they have been extremely.
So what
nice.
do we need to do?
This is just a first reading.
Well, if somebody though could do the motion to, I'm sorry.
Did you say this was the 3rd one?
Well, we did our initial 1-year term that started,
2020.
April 2020 through March 31, 2021, then we renewed it. And that one is going to, expire.
Expire.
Okay, so this is called the second addendum.
It's the second addendum, because
Okay.
we had our agreement, then we
Okay.
had our first
Okay.
addendum, and now our second.
I just want to
addendum.
verify
That
that.
doesn't really go together, does it?
So we need a motion for Brian to let them know that
To
we're
send
gonna,
our notice of intention that we would like
That
to
we-
renew for a 1-year term.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Go ahead.
Steve?
I got a phone call. This is-
Dean Reister.
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
And Brian Smith.
Yes.
Now, the garbage is coming tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
So go ahead and do your first reading, thank you.
Ordinance number 2022-05, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to enter into second addendum to the agreement for collection, transportation, and disposal of residential solid waste within the corporate limits of the village of Antwerp, Ohio. Ordinance number 2022-06, Ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $77,500 from the general fund to the streetlight fund. And
And we did get the next one in, I guess you guys thought and see that that's highlighted, our basic code books that we get, it's a very thick book. And then we get it usually in January, usually right after we have our first council meeting. We usually pass it as an emergency because that's what adopts kind of the general laws for the village. And I know that I think the police officers cite to it when they do their tickets, so it's something we usually do pass by emergency, but unfortunately we didn't get those in yet, so.
Does the last year still continue to hold over?
We are going to continue to use it until we get the new one.
So do we wanna have a special meeting if that book comes in? Do we wanna try to set something up with
Probably, yeah.
notification of it,
Probably wouldn't.
as opposed to waiting another month?
Right. It depends on when it comes in. I mean, if
Yeah.
it comes in the week before our next
Yeah.
meeting, no need to do so. If it comes in
Time frame.
tomorrow, maybe we could do something maybe next week or the following week.
We don't have a digital version that's already arrived that we could approve that, do we? Okay.
No, they'll send the document.
So we're reliant on the Anderson Publishing Company.
That comes on the internet or?
no, they delivered
It's
to
a,
me.
it's
Do
a
it in
book
there?
like this, and then it does have, that'd be a thick email. And then it usually they provide us with the exhibit that we attach to the ordinance, that way we don't have to obviously have this, that.
Yeah, it's
This
that.
is what we get.
And the police carry them in
Well,
each one of their cruisers, so they have
I
it
think we
with
should
them.
probably have a special meeting when it arrives, but we don't know when. Like, do we have a
Right.
We don't
UPS
know.
tracking
Yeah.
number or anything?
It usually comes,
As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will be tomorrow, I feel like it, because it usually comes right around this time, it's usually about the third week. We just always hope it comes before our meeting, sometimes it does,
So I had it on here just in case.
but that's why we're skipping it, just so everybody knows.
And then the last one is a resolution. It's a resolution number 2022-01. This is a resolution of necessity to levy a tax that is a renewal of an existing levy in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire protection and emergency medical services.
And then what happens after the third reading, if this is approved, this goes to the auditor's office, then who certifies to us, the number of mil, what we can revenue we'd get from 1 mil, I think is what we're asking for under
Correct.
this. And then once we have that, the next process is to pass a resolution that, to get it on the ballot to do a renewal levy. It's a renewal levy for this purpose,
Next is the reader report. For the month of December, paid to us in January, the village brought in $22,555.54 in RETA money. And then last, our new website has launched, villageofantwerp.com, same address as before. There is a couple new things on there. April and I did training last week on Wednesday for it. There's a few things that still need fixed, which we're working on, but there's the new Iris alert system. We will publicize this and let people know about it, but it's an emergency alert system. You can sign up for it. You have to have a village account number to do it, meaning your bill, your water bill account number. You get 3 phone numbers and 2 email addresses. You can sign to that. So I'll give you an instance. I don't live in town, but I need to know that they're working okay. So I will get on my parents' account because they only have 1 phone. So like I can be on theirs to make sure they're working, or I can get on their email, whatever. So I encourage people to sign up for that. That will be used for like if there's a water main break or, you know, a robbery or anything you can think of emergency-wide that people need to know about. They don't have water, we're shutting it off, a boil advisory. Bear with us because the boys are gonna have to remember to call me or April in the middle of the night or whatever it is, and then we're gonna have to log on at home and get it to post the alert to everybody. And you know, their first thought is get it fixed. So it may take us a little while to get used to getting it out there. And then there's the non-emergency alert system, which has already been in place and people use it. I don't know how many subscribers we have. I'll have to check that. But that's for anytime we have like we post meeting minutes, or we post the agenda, or we post a public notice of a new meeting time or place, or an ordinance or resolution. You can also get email notifications on those. So sign up for both of those.
How does the person go about signing up?
You go to the website on the homepage, go down, there's like an alert link, or you can go all the way down to the bottom and it'll say like non-emergency, you put in your email, and then the iris alert system will say emergency alert, you click on it, and then it takes you to a different database and you fill in the information there. But you will need your water bill account number to do that. We have to pay for that. We bought 800, I think, people, because there's 750 some water residents, and then there's some sewer that aren't water. So April and I will be able to go in and, okay, this person don't really have an account with us, we need to take them off so that the people who do can get in and get their notifications. We're hoping it is a hit. We're hoping people like it, use it, appreciate
You
it.
think we could possibly send like a reminder card or something with the water bill? Would that be an
It would probably
idea?
be something separate,
The
just
wa-
because the
water
bill is a
just
card.
Right.
There's no room for it. We have enough trouble with the post office getting everything on there that we need to get on it. But I mean, we can announce it on Facebook. We can do a mailing if that's what you want to do. One-time mailing, letting people know about it, where to go, what to do.
I mean, that'd be an expense that we'd have to look into, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt for us to shout it out on Facebook
Yeah.
and to do it on the website. Let people know about it, see how it does. Tell your friends. I mean, there's 4 free COVID tests to all of you people now that Biden's doing, and that's spreading like wildfire. So maybe we can get this to
What?
spread.
Is it
Well,
spreading as
let's be
fast as
available.
Omicron?
What's Steve?
When will this be available?
Now, you
Oh,
can,
now.
I did a
Okay.
test on it. April and I were the
Where's-
2.
Where's it at on here?
Scroll down.
Okay.
So right there, you can see
Okay.
sign up for news alert. That's the non-emergency one.
Okay, sign up for
Okay.
news alert.
And then the one right beside it, do you see it, Jason?
Mhm.
It's an emergency one. There's the other one.
Okay.
You can also scroll up a little bit, and there's 3 boxes that go across it. And the last one, I think,
Sign
says
up.
alerts.
So here's the website. At the bottom of the website, you enter your email address or the iris alerts with your water bill.
Okay.
So you click that right there.
Did you click it? Because it didn't work.
No, I didn't. I
Oh.
was
See, and then that comes up, and that's where you'll
So-
enter your water bill number.
here's where you'd enter your stuff at.
Okay.
There's where you'd enter your
The
stuff
website is very nice. I
So
wanted to say that.
Okay.
So yeah, check it out. And if you have any ideas, any suggestions on the website, it's taken us a long time to get this up and launched and user friendly. The last one didn't work right. Tell us if there's things you want to see. We tried to get zoning permits on there. We tried to get the Vets Memorial application, utility deposit, apps, forms. We eventually want to get the zoning map on there and then the zoning manual on it. We want it to be 100% transparency for everybody to go find what they need when they need it. Resolutions, ordinances, those get updated usually a day or 2 after our meetings. Meeting minutes follow a month behind because you can see we're approving December's meetings in January. So, but other than that,
Do you have any idea what kind of an expense it would be for
For
a
what?
one-time mailing to notify people?
well, what is it, 58
Probably.
cents
Right,
times
there's
7,
300
800
bucks.
people?
Oh, yeah, probably 500. I
thought
mean, you
it was
got,
if we
What it costs to bill water bills.
Well, those are a postcard.
yeah, they're cheap. a lot
But we
cheaper.
wouldn't have to have something very big, would we?
No, she could
Postcard.
probably use her postcard paper and do it.
If we do it like that,
You
that's
could have
the
another
town's notifying.
You can have them put it on the,
It would-
do that.
the Antwerp
So,
school,
yeah.
because I know there's a ton of people that are signed up for the Antwerp school thing, and they do that. Like
Honeywell.
they'll post little things, yeah, on there, like, so
Yeah.
that may be another way just to get the word out.
Yeah.
You could even put the website on,
Yeah,
like, with the new website. Because I know the school is usually pretty good about doing, I mean, they've done stuff for like the splash pad and whatnot, so this is, I would.
we could do a story in the newspaper
More
on it
up their alley, I
to
guess.
sign up on it.
Yeah, so
Okay, so we get the word out there so people.
I can see daily how many people have signed up. So I mean, I think like in the next couple weeks, since we're putting it out there now, and I'll put something on the internet on the page, I think like in the next couple weeks we can see if it's really
Catching on.
catching
Okay.
on, and then go from there.
Just don't want somebody saying, well, I never knew that.
Maybe if you get a minute this week, look and see what that number is that's signed up now. Jot
None.
it down. Well, I mean, okay, well, that's easy.
No,
Me and
3 of us,
April,
you, me, and
and
April.
Brian. I forgot I did have
And
Brian
then-
set up because I did a test to make sure
I
it was
thought you
gonna
said
work.
people were signing up
Just me
now.
and April.
but.
just us. And then I did a test, and then the test worked, and I asked Brian to sign
And then maybe could look at the number before the next meeting and kind of let us know
up. Okay,
where we're at.
sure will.
If we're at 50% or better, then I think we're good.
And that's it for me.
Okay. Not listed on here, but everybody got the EMS report? Okay, then we'll move along to the administrator.
Excuse me. We employed Bell Engineering out of Bryan, Ohio, to do some engineering that we have to have done in order to finish up grant applications. So they were in the village this week doing the physical portion of the sidewalk. So I am hoping by the end of the week or the first of next week, I'll have what I need to submit to the state. I have a January 31st deadline in order to do so. And then they will begin on the engineering for Railroad Street to determine what we need to have done there and do the drawings and everything. Most of the stuff is in my report. The one thing I wanted to bring up was Schaefer Road. Kenny approached me after the last meeting and asked if there was any consideration that we not expend $1.5 million in fixing Schaefer Road, but maybe we take and remove a piece of it, make it a dead-end street, and just go that route. I actually think it's probably a really good idea. Probably will save the village $475,000. I need to get some engineering price or get some price on having it done. I don't think it will be too much, because they would only have to take out, I don't know, 5-10 feet section of the street, and then they would have to curb it or something to make it a dead end. But other than that, I think that it probably would be a big savings for the village. Even if we, have a cost of $1.5 million and we get $1 million in grant, we still got about $500,000. Right? So about $2,000 a month over the next 30 years.
I'm not sure if the houses on that road would total that value.
Well, I think there were
The ones
5 or
that would
6
be
houses.
affected, the ones that be affected, probably only 2 or 3 at the moment.
Yeah. I'd like to go down and talk with the
The
homeowners
homeowners
and
and
explain to them the rationale. I just
Well, and I think most of your owners might actually like that. I can't speak for
from
them. but I know
from my
complaints
perspective,
I
I'd like it
received.
because it wouldn't be a straight through fare and stuff. It'd just be for the people that live there. It'd be like an extended driveway. But
and
I mean,
then,
I don't live there, so it's
is
easy
that
to use.
kind of what we would do, that last residence that's affected most, we would just complete that driveway out for them then and kind of.
Well, you have the one house which is on the east side, down at the south end of the street. You would come past that, and then you would sever that road past that. So they would have area to back out and utilize their driveway. It wouldn't affect anything, but you would separate it between that and the kind of the mass area that involves the trailer court.
So would the first driveway come through the trailer court, or would they have to go north?
They have to go north,
Okay.
which
That's
they
kind
do
of-
right now.
So
Yeah.
Brian, this is Schaefer Street, not Schaefer Road, because we've got a Schaefer Road over here,
Okay.
right?
Schaefer
Just,
Street.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
it's this one over here.
Yes.
The one
Okay,
on the river.
okay. I mean, is it just like a matter of, driving those pylons in and put on those road guards?
I don't know what would be
Yeah.
the most cost-effective and easiest way to do it. And that probably will be the end result, but I don't know until
Yeah.
I have a construction crew come in and take a look at it and give me.
Who do we get grants from on that?
That would be out of pocket for the village.
The
There-
whole
We
thing,
may be
okay.
able to utilize ARPA funds. I have we have a video or a webinar we have to be on January 24th. They've come out with final rule and they made some changes. Streets are now eligible. I don't know to what extent. So if we can utilize the ARPA funds, we have money in the ARPA account that we can utilize it and it'll be at no cost to the village. Any other questions? Metal Links people are in the village. They're beginning the process of boring and installing internet fiber in the village. Their intent is to do the entire village over time. And so you'll start to see them out with the machines boring under the roads and in the public right-of-ways. Public easements, I'm sorry, not private easements. Any other questions? I have a request on the agenda that we go into an executive session for the discussion of purchase of property.
You need a motion?
I do, sir.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of,
Right there in your agenda.
yeah, right here, where it is. For the purpose of property.
For public purposes.
Purchase of
Consider
property.
the
Purchase.
purchase of property for public purposes.
Purchasing.
I need a second.
I got it.
You there yet?
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith. And you're entering at 6:10.
6:32.
6:32.
Committee report,
I don't need to write anything about no
just so
action.
we can, no action taken.
Yeah, no, that's what
Alright.
No, other than that, we had a zoning meeting, we had a zoning meeting on January 5th. And, I think you got all the information.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's, anyway.
You're just continuing to work on zoning issues or
Yeah,
something?
we're rezoning downtown.
There's a list of properties that are,
B1 to
their zoning will change and stuff.
Yeah, B1 to B2.
So we'll do the plan commission, we'll make a recommendation, they'll do a motion.
Do the whole thing
Okay.
again, the advertising, the public hearing.
Yeah.
Fun.
Hey, I'm starting to catch on. So
We'll get them
this is
all on
difficult.
this one,
I just-
all of them.
I
That's
just
what we
told-
said twice ago.
I told
we got
Gabe,
the
I
other
said,
one done, right?
don't
Yeah.
dump it on council till we eat back. So we got everything set up.
Okay.
And you have another meeting coming up in
Yes,
a couple of weeks.
February 2nd. February 2nd.
What time, Kenny?
6:15,
Here?
yes.
Yeah, which committee?
What time did you say? Sorry.
6:15.
It's zoning.
Planning commission, I think
6:15.
is what
6:15.
they're,
Zoning,
Thanks.
yeah.
planning and zoning,
Yeah.
How do we know the times and places of the current committees?
You call as you need them.
How do we know when we need it?
In
Usually
here,
it comes up at the
in
meeting.
here,
Okay.
in here, you'll
We don't
say.
have to meet like so many times a year?
If there's
Some of
something
them.
that comes up that you are on a committee with and you wanna pull up a meeting, then you can just call for a meeting in that committee,
Okay.
and then we'll make notice.
Let me know, because we have to publish it then 24 hours before the meeting.
Like
And
if-
you have to take notes.
Like when I did the public safety, when we did the food truck stuff, it started off in, I believe, public service, and they got nowhere, so then they landed on public safety, and so then I took control of it, and I scheduled meetings, and then we had meetings, and then we
Okay.
finally got something done with public safety
I
on the
just
food trucks.
wanna make sure I don't miss one.
Yeah.
And then make sure someone's taking the meeting minutes, and then those have to be typed up, approved by you guys, and then they go to me and they go in a binder for public records.
They didn't have to type it.
And
Unless you
Correct, they don't
retype-
have to be typed up. You
Just-
can give them to me written.
Yeah.
Just make sure that the whole group agrees on the minutes.
Like at the next meeting? Or do we like?
No, when
hand
you
them out
have a
and-
committee meeting, just have your committee meeting, take the notes, and then review the notes at the end.
Okay.
And then you'll present it like now at a committee report, like
Okay.
Ken just did.
Okay.
He had a meeting, so then if you have a public safety meeting, then we would meet, we would take notes, then we would present it to the council in a committee report, and then we would just hand her.
But the
our-
minutes from the meeting would be read at that same meeting at the end.
It
so
would be
everybody approves
discussed,
it.
yeah, well,
Okay.
at the
Count.
committee.
Committee, yes. Okay.
Council doesn't do anything with them, committee would.
Okay.
Just the committee just says, yeah, this is what we talked about, and this
And
is
then
the
they make
subject.
a recommendation.
Usually what I do is I'll take notes as I go,
Mhm.
and then when we get done to summarize before we adjourn, I'll say, this is what we talked about, is
Mhm.
there anything we're missing? And it's just a brief discussion or description of what it was you discussed, you don't have to be super detailed.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about that and just say, give us the results to full council, then hand her the, whatever you got, and if you typed them, that's fine, if not, then that's fine too.
Okay.
Amy, I don't know how they do their billing, but the EMS, I got a phone call today. They transported a patient almost 2 months ago, and that person has not got a bill yet.
It goes to their insurance first. So if that person has insurance, it goes to their insurance first, and then when Ashley gets the statement back saying what the insurance paid, then she bills the person
So
for the
that
rest
person
of
will
it.
get a bill eventually.
Unless they're
Well,
Medicare or
If they're
something.
Medicare or Medicaid, they'll get no bill.
Right.
Insurance pays for it, or if they're at their deductible, like if they've met their deductible for the
So
year,
how's
they may not
this
get it.
person gonna know?
Because Ashley will contact them. She'll send
Okay.
them a bill.
All right, okay.
Plus, they'll get a statement in the mail from their insurance company saying,
EOB.
yeah, and it's an EOB, it's an explanation of benefits. It'll tell them exactly what was covered, what wasn't, and what they're responsible for, and then she will bill out her portion of it. And then wherever they went, they'll bill out their portion of it.
Tell the person just to hang loose.
Hang loose.
Okay.
And if they
Start
don't
saving
get
their
one,
money.
tell them to
Put
enjoy.
it in the jar.
Okay.
Start.
Is there
They,
really
they can
money?
always contact
Yeah.
Ashley too. If anybody has any questions, they can call her.
Well, they
Well,
were
they-
just wondering what, yeah, okay.
They could call their insurance company too and ask, because that's what I used to work for, doctors and insurance, all that stuff. But they could call them and just say, "Hey, this happened on this date. Can I check the status of it?" And then they should be able to let them know if
Okay.
it was paid for
Well,
or.
They were just wondering, so, am I supposed to get a bill? And I said, I
Yeah.
don't know, but I'll find out. So, okay,
That's good. Most people don't wonder that.
okay.
Anything under new business? I know we talked about real ways.
I have something that I would like to bring up. We have, and Amy, thank you for doing the new website, getting it going, because it does make it easier to find amendments and ordinances and all that. But we have this amendment for the notices. It's big enough that you can see it, or are you going to pass it
Time
down?
and place, the time and place. That's
Okay.
2020. You see that, right?
2020-07.
Okay,
Okay.
that's from 2020.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. On here, it tells where the notices are published on the website, but the website, that page doesn't exist. That's listed.
Oh,
Village-
so when we
this-
made the new
this thing is-
website, we missed something?
No, I don't think it's missed, it's just changed. Okay, so it says legal notices will be published, or notices will be published at villageofantwerp.com/calendar.htm. That doesn't exist anymore because you're in
HTM
WordPress now.
Yeah, the HTM, there's a calendar there
So-
and the notices are on the calendar, but it's not at the same site.
It's not at this site.
So is the 2021 correct? Cause you're looking at the wrong ordinance, that's from 2020, so we just passed one in 2021.
This was the newest one I saw on the website. I could be
Okay.
wrong, but at the same time, I wanted to bring up, because I talked to the Attorney General's office yesterday, and according to 7.010 of the legal code, it has to be in a newspaper. Now, they told me their interpretation of the chairman, who I talked to, specifically stated it can be on the website, but there has to be an affidavit provided, and websites and Facebook do not provide one.
Are you talking about the announcement of the meeting time and place? Every year in
Yes.
January, we publish for the entire year our meeting time and place one time in the paper.
You're right. That's what I was pointing out. Like, all meetings have to have a notice in the paper. That's-
Sounds like you do.
No, she
No,
doesn't.
I do
Sounds
the
like you do it at the
regular one.
beginning
I
of
don't-
Just the
year.
regular.
I don't do special
but
meetings.
the code specifically states that it has to
So
be.
you only publish the meeting, the regular
Which-
meeting?
At the beginning of the year, we publish an ad that holds all of our meeting dates and times in the newspaper for the entire year.
Yeah, for the regulars.
One time in January.
So you're saying she needs to publish the special meeting notices?
All notices have to be published in the newspaper. That's
I
what they
wasn't told
told me.
that. I was told that we
Seven
only have
point
to
one
publish
zero of
them.
ORC. And that's, the only reason I say this.
Say it again,
7.10, you can have it. I've got, and what it is, if we don't publish it and we make an approval in a special meeting, it could be taken back as not being valid, because public notification hadn't happened.
You can just have it. No, I'll print my own tomorrow.
Okay. Do you want any of this?
No, cause we have a 2021 ordinance, but it's still gonna be wrong, cause we didn't change the
So yeah,
website.
we've got some updates to do on those.
Yeah. And I knew we had updates, but that was not one that I was even thinking of, so we need to change.
You can just go to, I can help go through the website and just check all the links. Cause there's old documents that are linked to the old web, it's all gonna do that. They're all gonna be broken links.
You know, it's funny, Amy, when I did a Google search for Village of Antwerp, right here, just when I was showing everybody, test.villageofantwerp came up. That's the Google one that was pulling up. Is that where you went to when we were testing it out with Kelly?
I don't know, she sent me a link and I just clicked on it. I
Yeah,
never
for
paid
some reason,
attention.
that's what's coming up on the Google search engine. It's like, oh, hopefully we get more people clicking on the new one, so it overrides the test. So,
Yeah, it might have been. I didn't pay attention. I just clicked her link that she sent me, but
Mhm.
it probably is. And I was on it a lot trying to find it. No links are broken because I already tested it and then April tested it. What he's saying is our ordinance is just taking it to, it states what we used to go to. We're no longer using it that way. So we're gonna have to redo that ordinance.
We can do just an amendment
Okay,
and just note give me the right website.
yeah. Okay.
yeah, any place where we have web links listed in our ordinances will have to be
That's the only
reviewed.
one I
That's
know
the
of.
only one we have, cause we
So-
don't have like the employee manual or the zoning ordinance, none of that's on there yet. So that's another thing we'll have to watch in the future when we do it, if we ever
Well,
update
we
it.
usually don't do a link in our ordinances.
But if we put the zoning manual on there and
I'm
we,
just saying, we wouldn't have to
Mhm.
amend ordinances,
Oh,
because we
okay.
don't note in our ordinance they're at this link.
Okay.
We
Right,
don't do that,
that's correct.
so.
alright, and you're gonna look at 7:10,
I just took it.
okay, but you'll let me know, okay.
And then, so you're telling me all you publish is the regular meeting
I was-
notices at the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I was always told that meeting notices did not have to be in a newspaper, that they were allowed to be on our website.
And
Yeah.
then any other new business? Cause I have old business, you guys asked me to research something last month. So I was instructed at the last regular council meeting to get an opinion from the Attorney General on whether the village can do business with a council member. Before doing that, I obviously researched to see if that was the proper process. Based on my research, it looks like the proper course is really for the affected council member to seek an opinion from the Ohio Ethics Commission on whether he can do business with the village while serving as a council member. I thought I'd go through my research results with everyone. So where I started, we do have a code section in the Ohio Revised Code. It's section 731.12. It's on the qualification of members of village legislative authority. It specifically states that no member of the legislative authority shall be interested in any contract with the village. So that's where it's prohibited. But there is a section, another statutory section. It's Ohio Revised Code, section 2921-.42. It's entitled Having an Unlawful Interest in a Public Contract, and it has a list of 5 things, and it says no public official shall knowingly do any of the following. So I think what's important, it does define what it means by the public contract. It's defined in this statute in subsection I, and it says it's the purchase or acquisition, whether by contract or not, of any services for use by the political subdivision. So in our instance, it would be for the village. So then looking at what is restricted by a public official, which includes a council member, there, like I said, it's under subsection A, and it lists the 5 things that are not allowed. So what I looked at in trying to better understand these prohibitions or restrictions, I did find an Ohio Ethics Commission advisory opinion, it's number 2000-02. It dealt with a city council member seeking an opinion on whether he could bid on city construction contracts. What was found by the commission, they said Ohio ethics law does restrict his activities as a city council member and prohibits him from having an interest in contracts with the city unless the exceptions that are in this statute are met. And also, they found that it prohibits city council member from profiting from a public contract authorized by him or the legislative body of which he is a member unless the contract was let by competitive bidding to the lowest and best bidder. They also found in that opinion that the Ohio Ethics Law prohibits the council member from using or authorizing the use of the authority or influence of his office to secure a public contract in which he or his company has an interest. So looking through that opinion and kind of looking through the statute, kind of how they did their analysis. So the first thing they looked under was subsection A, subsection 4, which provides, again, that a council member or a public official cannot have an interest in the profits or benefits of a public contract entered into by or for the use of the political subdivision of which the public official is connected. So in looking at that section, they have an exception, which is also spelled out in that same statute. It's under subsection C, and there's these 4 criteria that are set out. All 4 of those must be established. It's strictly construed against the public official, and the public official must show compliance with all 4 requirements for the exception to be met. So again, that's under having an interest in a public contract. The other thing prohibited by this statute is under subsection 1, which it says you cannot do any of the following: cannot authorize or employ the authority or influence of the public official's office to secure authorization of any public contract in which the public official or a member of the public official's family or any of the public official's business associates has an interest. So in looking at that prohibition and then looking at this ethics opinion, it says, that this would prohibit a council member from voting to approve any payments to any company in which he is affiliated with, a member of his family, or a business associate. That also, they went on to say then they can't recommend the company to other village officials or employees. They can't use their position of authority over other village officials or employees in any way to secure business for the company. This also included casual as-needed purchases, whether a written agreement or not, and also prohibited them from using their public position in any way to secure the casual purchases from their company. The next thing they looked at was subsection 3 under subsection A. Again, this was a prohibition that says that during the public official's term of office or within 1 year thereafter, they cannot occupy any position of profit in the prosecution of a public contract authorized by the public official or by a legislative body of which the public official was a member at the time of authorization, unless the contract is let by competitive bidding to the lowest and best bidder. So under that subsection, how they did the same analysis, and they said this would prohibit a council member, from occupying any position of profit in a public contract, even if they abstained from voting on it. So that was that section. Then the next 2 things they did, they looked at the conflict of interest sections of the statute, which are under Ohio Revised Code 102.03, and they looked at D and B. They said those prohibit the council member from using any public time, facilities, personnel, etc. to operate their private business, using the relationship with any public official to secure a favorable decision for their business, discussing, deliberating, or taking any action as a public official on any matter involving their business, using public position or authority in any other way to secure a benefit for their business. And finally, sorry this is so long, but they looked at subsection B, which prohibits the public official, from using or disclosing confidential information required as a course of their duties as a member of council as a part of their, for their private business. So I know we have reviewed this issue in the past for a council member, about whether a business in which they were just an employee, we could have a contract with that business, and we had made the decision that no, that was not something that we would allow. That was again based on Ohio Revised Code 731.12, and then there is an Attorney General opinion, which is number 1973-043, which that dealt with a city council member who worked for an insurance company that issued medical insurance for the city employees. In the factual scenario of that opinion, the council member was just an employee, not an officer or manager. However, the AG opined that an employee of an insurance company that contracts with the city cannot at the same time be a member of the city for the city council. So, I've looked at the issue. I know that was probably more than everyone wanted, but I wanted to be thorough because it is an important issue. And I know things have been looked at to try to overcome certain obstacles to continue to do certain business with a member of council. Based on the statutes I've reviewed, based on the ethics opinion, that was right on point. It was a city council member, even though it's a city versus a village, the city has the same qualifications, you can't have any contract with the city. So looking at the similarity between those two, I guess, my recommendation would be that based on my legal research, the village should not have any contract or purchase any supplies or services with any member of council, that for which they have a business interest or an employee based on prior precedent. So, I don't know if anybody wants me to do more research, but that is what I found.
When I first came on council, the village was having electrical work done, and I'm an electrician by trade. And I felt as though when I first seen a few of the bids come in, I thought they was kind of high. So I inquired, and I'm probably the one that Mel's referring to, I inquired of whether or not I could use my company to save the village money, was actually my intent. Really wasn't looking for the extra work or anything, I just thought they was kind of high bid. And that's we didn't go this depth, because she just said, no, it's not, you can't do that. So I was like, okay. I was like, all right, if you say we can't, then we can't. So, and this is all extended, I'm the one that asked because I am concerned with your business in the village. And I don't want us to be in jeopardy of doing something that we probably shouldn't be doing. So, with Mel's research and what's happened to me in the past, I guess I would just present a motion that we not do business with village council members' businesses to the statutes of what the ORC and Mel's research has laid out for us.
I'll just say something on that too. I went through the Ohio ethics training on that, and section 4, made it clear that you can, as long as you are not part of any discussion. But then section 7 was a little muddy on that.
Yeah, because the exception only
And,
applies to 4, it doesn't apply to 1 and 3 that
Yeah,
we discussed.
and the whole training, it was very interesting. I mean, as far as, well, I mean, my goal is just to keep information coming out to people. But
I'm
When you're not prohibited from doing
Yeah, I was gonna
that.
say,
no,
it's your
well,
liberty to
I mean,
print
as
whatever
far
you
as
wanna
like
print.
notices and stuff,
Yeah.
but it says you also have to charge, and that's a problem. If that section 7.10 specifically states it has to be charged. So, I mean, and that's fine. I cannot be a part of any of that kind of discussion. I can't even be in here when that time comes, if it's now.
So,
He made a motion.
so are you saying you should not be in the room? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that last part of what you said.
If this discussion is specifically about setting a contract, which I've never had a contract, West Bend has never had a contract.
Right.
So that's why,
I don't think
that's why this whole thing's kind of muddy. We've never had a contract.
A purchase order in the
Yeah.
state of Ohio is presumed to be
Well-
a contract.
And it's in the.
And we've never had a
purchase.
purchase, we've never even had a purchase
And
order.
the
I do
public-
on my end.
But,
And
okay,
the
created a
public
purchase order for
contract
you
under
in
that,
January.
and that public contract under that statute, it doesn't have to be a written agreement. It can just be for the purchase of supplies
Yes.
or services.
So-
It's pretty
Services,
broad.
yeah.
And I think the motion was, you were just saying,
I think we should restrict the village the village employees that are using village funds from acquiring from any member that has business that's gonna utilize a service that uses village funding.
should not be from a business that a council member is affiliated with.
That's
What
my
he
motion.
said was motion to not do business with village council members' businesses. But tell
And
me
I
how you
assume
want.
West Bend News and the publishing company, those are your businesses, right?
I am a employee.
And I think employees.
I am
probably
a
in
shareholder, just like I am at the bank and other ones.
But you're a shareholder of the company
Company.
that owns those businesses, there's like probably DBAs or subsidiaries or whatever, I mean, you
They're-
are the overall.
they're S corps.
Yeah,
And I
So
guess that's
it's
where
a
we was
business.
asking for, if
Yeah, I mean,
you wanna
it's absolutely a
pursue,
business, I'm an employee of.
if you wanna pursue and get an ethics opinion from the, what is the Ohio
it's the
Ethics
Ohio
Committee?
Ethics Commission,
I just wanna make sure that everybody gets information.
and I think I was thorough, I mean, I'm.
So that,
All of-
that's
all
all
of
I'm
our
saying,
eyes glazed
is
over.
everything's
I'm
kinda
sorry.
gray.
I
Well, it
tend
makes
to do
sense,
that
and
to
that's-
people.
With as muddy as it is, and as much as that is, it makes sense to stay away. But it's kind of like it's on fire.
It's a little taboo.
We could probably
yeah.
put it out, but like, why go to the fire?
So I'd like to
mean,
reiterate that new, which has always been on our website, but the new sign up alert, that's not the emergency one. If they subscribe to that, anytime we post to the blog, meeting notices, ordinances, resolutions, it sends them an email and says, hey, this just happened on the site, if you wanna read it, push,
You're just
Open your
talking about
email.
the information side.
Yeah, so
the
that people are
information in the-
informed.
and
Oh,
that's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, no, I mean, obviously, we're still not meeting the legal definition of 7.10. It's gotta be in some newspaper that people receive.
But I'm just
in the
saying,
county.
as far as when you're saying you just wanna make sure people are informed, if
Yes.
people want informed, they can also subscribe to that and make sure that they're being notified every time we
Oh, yeah,
post something to
no, this
that.
has nothing to do with the website
Okay.
at all. This has, I just
So I
cannot,
think this is just the concern of any taxpayer public funds being used to pay for any purchase of supplies or services from any business in which a member of council would be affiliated, any public official.
And and when I got told no, I'm just an employee and I'm not even a stockholder, but I'm just an employee for Votal Electric.
if you guys have not gone through the Ohio ethics training, I would highly recommend it. Because, one, you get a certification on it, that we're supposed to be doing every year, each person is. And it talks about, explains nepotism and it explains all these other things, and I think it's very good. I think we should all probably be getting it.
Do you go to
Probably
their
offer
site?
a webinar,
Yes,
do they
it's
offer
a webinar.
So
Yes.
then you could do it from the comforts of your home.
We all just did, our sunshine laws,
And that's a
so,
webinar.
and that was easy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something we did when we had
I would
time.
recommend everybody
I don't
do
know if you
that.
could find them.
And I think
I
there's
stay awake
new,
during that.
I'm sorry to
Easily.
keep talking while there's a motion pending, but I know there's new officer training too. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's webinar, I think it's in person, but, that's a good thing to do too if you're a new officer, so.
I will
I've asked
send an
Amy-
email link to all of you for that.
If she can find that information and do it the same way you did the sunshine laws, so we can get there, that'd be fine. Or at least, yeah, that would be fine. But like I said, I proposed a motion to,
We
to
will adjust
restrict
this.
our, it would be George and Ashley and Vicky and anybody that does any needs or services from anybody that owns the business.
Or any of your family members. Ohio Ethics Commission
There's
is
You
no-
mean the other
very
way.
specific about
That's
this
the
too.
reverse way, yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying that, so
Sure.
you're just saying these departments
The
should be
village departments
purchasing
shouldn't be purchasing.
So an
supplies or
example would be,
services from a
George
member
shouldn't go
council.
buy ammo from Ashley, or you're just saying council members?
Well, Ashley's not George's.
Well, that does bring that up. That is the same thing.
I'm
I mean, how
I'm
far
not
are we
getting
gonna take
into that.
this?
We have a motion, are you saying for council members? Cause council's who approves the spending. Council is who approves, you review the financials every month, you're the ones that are approving the spending.
Well, and the Ohio Ethics makes it very clear, that exact thing that you just said about Ashley McDougal, that is specifically mentioned in that Ohio Ethics training.
And if somebody that wants to be researched in the
This
future,
this
that's
might need to
fine,
be,
but-
maybe we
You
shouldn't
guys
rush
maybe
into
do,
this.
Where do you buy your
ethics
ammo
training.
from?
I used to buy it from Ace Hardware until the council told me I had to buy it from Matt. I don't think it's right to buy it from Matt because he's a fire captain, EMS person, his wife's the EMS billing, they're employees of the village. I don't think,
No, he's not the public authority.
He's not making the decision.
See, that's the balance,
I
you know,
just think it's
trying
Public
to, trying to buy
authorities,
from
the
local
elected
taxpayers.
This is a total council decision, I gave my report on my research.
I don't feel they fall in it because they're not, they don't deliberate on any of the financials. That's our job. We deliberate on the financials and we approve all spending. And they are not direct relatives of anybody sitting on this council.
That's still a direct violation of the Ohio Ethics, though. So I don't think we can approve one without the other.
I just focused
So,
on what I was told to
My vote
focus
will be
on
no unless
December.
it's one or all.
I don't know if you can vote on this.
I haven't bought anything from them in 5 years though. Due to the lack
This
of
is
ammunition anyway, and I always got it where it's cheapest. I still continue to buy it in Paulding.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to drag you
No,
into it,
you're
I
fine.
just
No.
curious to
No,
see
no, I
where
mean,
you
this,
were.
that's why we're discussing this. But, I mean, it specifically states that in the Ohio ethics training, that's one of the examples. So I mean,
We don't have that information now. The only information we have in front of us right now is what Mel has provided
And I
about a
researched this when I
village,
was asked to research.
about a village authority, which is us that are sitting on this council, and our family members that own businesses, and the village spending money at their businesses.
I would prefer that
And that's
everybody
the-
buy locally.
That's the motion that I'm putting out, that we should
Reread
probably
the
cease.
motion as it's worded.
I didn't get it right,
Oh, okay.
so
I'm gonna make a motion that we cease buying materials and supplies from anybody's business that is sitting on council.
I'll second it.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
No.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Ken Reinhardt,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
Motion to cease buying.
If,
That's all I had under old business, unless anybody had anything else under old business.
Can I ask to go on from that, if we are no longer going to publicize our ads in his paper, who are you telling me to use?
I
Well,
would
are
say
there any
use
other
Paulding
news-
Progress.
Is that the only other newspaper in general circulation in the village?
The Crescent News, but I mean, they're both in the village.
I think the text does say county in 7.10 and
Okay.
I think it
7.12.
did too.
Okay,
So I think, unless we don't have another one in the county, I think we gotta,
okay,
I would agree.
thank you.
I think there is only one.
Now, if
Okay.
you wanna get an opinion from the Ohio Ethics that you can bring and kind of spell it out to us to where they'll say that this is all acceptable, then we'll rehash this.
and that's fine. I mean, I would prefer that anything we can, we buy locally. That's just my opinion. Okay, but that, my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is that we could treat everybody the same across the board. So, and if we need to, then yes.
Okay, we took the vote, we're done there.
I think so.
So
Did you
at
have a roll
that
call?
point, that motion's gonna be to.
I did.
Okay, so any other old business? I know that's all I had that I was asked to do. Is there any other old business? Guess the mayor.
Okay, Mayor's Court. Whew, I'm up.
Yeah.
Christine, we need to elect the council president. What?
I don't think we did.
We need to elect a new council president.
So we just need a motion.
Every year we
Well, you guys
nominate
can
and we vote
discuss
for a
and see
council
who you
president.
would like to,
Yes.
nominate. Typically what we do, we open the floor for nominations. Once nominations, all the nominations are made, then we'll do a motion to close nominations and you'll take a roll call. And then we usually do, a motion to, elect whoever it is to serve as the council president, so.
Well, I would-
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I would nominate Dean Reister would be my nomination, so.
I nominate Jason Franks.
Okay, any other nominations?
Mine would be, well,
So,
So we're just discussing it then?
Yeah, I mean, you
Okay.
could make, you
We got
discuss
two-
it, you make nominations, and then once all the nominations are made, you just do a motion to close on the nominations, and then you can do a motion to elect whomever you want, and then a roll call is made until we elect a council president, until we have a majority that elects a council
I'll
president,
make a
so,
motion to close the nomination.
okay, you have a second?
I'll say.
I'll second.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Ken Reinhardt,
yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
And then just a motion to elect whomever, one of the nominees.
Can I say something? Wouldn't it be nice to have that as a written ballot to where you're not showing a show of hands, that there's no partiality?
It's a
have
public
to-
meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion to, for Jason Franks as council president.
And you need a second?
Can I make another motion?
Well,
No,
we
no,
have to,
we have to
we
do
have
this
to go
one
through his
first.
motion process first, and if it doesn't pass, then we make another motion.
So can we just discuss before?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So like the only, I mean, my reasoning behind it is because Dean has been in council, he has the seniority out of the members, and seems to know a lot of things. I know he's detail oriented and in the codes, and he was one of the first people that came to me to help, like offer to help go through if there's anything I'm not sure about. So like I just feel like he seems to be on the stick and know what's going on. Nothing against Jason, because Jason's brand new to the thing. So I know from being in this position for a couple of meetings, it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of things to try to pick up on and figure out, and so that would be my only reason for Dean over Jason.
That would be my, I find it hard to find something he does wrong. you know.
Well,
I got a list.
And you do step into that role if anything happens to us.
Yes.
So before you nominated Dean, I was gonna nominate Dean, so, I mean, I
You
would
could
vote
have
for
still
Dean.
nominated Dean.
Yeah, Dean's got my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might go.
I would certainly think that he brought up a very good point. Heaven forbid that you would have to move into that place, not anything against you, but we don't want anything to happen to you. But if any of us were presented that situation, I think you would be the one that would be most capable to do that.
You have to do mayor's court then.
I just need a bigger gavel.
I got a bigger one down
Can't
here,
do
I got
life
two
sentences
sizes.
in marriage court.
Well, Jan, I would like to withdraw my motion.
I was gonna say, you can, we still have it present, but if you wanna withdraw, we can definitely do that.
Well, I appreciate
Do I make a note of
everybody's,
that?
Yes, you have to. You
Insight
make a
and
motion, you have to.
I'd
We
be
have to
honored
vote
to
to-
accept it again.
Well, I'll make
this
a
year.
motion that we.
Okay, hold on, let me get
Okay.
Bryce's
Oh, okay,
withdrawal
okay.
first. Hold
Right
on.
faster down.
I didn't have enough lines for all this.
additional paper.
Alright,
Okay, got that. So now we're doing a motion.
I'll make a motion that we nominate,
elect
or that we elect.
Dean
And I will
as
second
council
that.
president.
Okay, so this was Steve, motion,
Kenny's-
Kenny second.
It's President Pro Tempore.
Yes,
I got
use
it.
his
Look,
language,
look,
cause you know
I got
I'm
it.
not getting into that.
Motion on
yet.
President Pro Tempore.
Okay.
You
So
just have that title, don't you? Get a t-shirt made.
I think it's what they put on the
Okay.
fried
Steve Jordan.
We're
This
doing
is
roll call
Yeah,
on that motion.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Kenny was on here. Dean, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Kenny do it.
That's the,
Is that a conflict if he
Uh,
votes for
we
himself?
actually researched that last year and he can't vote.
I
Okay.
know.
And
We did
Brian
look.
Smith.
Yes.
Yeah,
Too many. I pre-make these, but it don't work out very
You
well.
have to do front and back.
Well, I don't know if I should thank you all, but thank you.
You might be in the hot seat soon.
Last year it
Okay.
turned into the hot seat, that's for sure.
Yes.
yeah.
Everybody got their committees, so, okay. So for mayor's court, the total for this month went to the city, $1,561. To the state, $366.50. To the indigent driver, $13.50. Grand totals $1,941.
$1,941.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn,
I'll second that.
Dean Reister,
yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.